Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group. Okay. So today I'm going to explain how we create a dynamic form component. Okay. Now before start, can anyone tell me like what do we mean when we say dynamic form component? Obviously it's a reusable component, but what do we actually mean by that? Dynamic form component. Anyone? Anyone?
Projection.
Yes,
We can use
multiple
the same
places.
template
Guys, one at a time.
all over our project.
Yeah, Ashish. Once again.
We
Form
can
controls are coming
use
from
the same
backend.
file all over the component, and we just have to change a few parameters, and it will work.
Okay.
Anyone
Else?
projection.
Content projection is also one thing. Again.
All form controls names are coming from the backend.
All form control will come from the backend.
Yes.
Okay. Dynamic form component. Still no one has reached to that point. Dinesh?
It means dynamic means whenever we have to make the dynamic form, uh, we need to use for everywhere, but we don't change for the any content specific things at all. But whenever we create on the interface, like we can use it for the dynamic.
Okay, somewhat like that. Okay. So now imagine you are working on some admin application or a website, it can be anything. Most of the admin application has scenarios like that. So when we talk about admin application, in admin application, there are so many master pages. So first of all, what is master page? Master pages. What do we understand by master pages? Master pages. If we talk about admin kind of application, normally we have master pages. What does this mean by master pages? What kind of functionality we have in master pages?
Dashboard and like sidebar and the main content.
No. I'm talking about with API integration. With API integration, we create master pages. Let's say your application is there. In your application, you have so many drop downs, and that drop down data you get it from some another API. Okay, let's say city, master, payment type, let's say designation type, what else, department. This kind of data, which we do the CRUD operation of this data, but we do the CRUD operation of this department designation just because we are going to need that data in another form. Getting it? Let's say if we talk about employee application.
Like reference data, which
Reference
is
type
like
of data.
cities, countries.
Yeah. So let's say employee app is there. We have a create employee form. In create employee form, we have city, a drop down. Then let's say department. This will be again drop down. We can have designation also. Correct? So like this drop down data we show, and this type of data we get it from API. Sometimes we hard code it on the UI side in some static array or somewhere, or sometimes we design it hard code on the UI side also. But most of the time, this kind of data we get it from the API and that we display. But if we are getting this data from the API side, but it's not like that the data is already there. We are only going to create that data. So we are going to have city page where we are going to do the CRUD operation of city, right? Just like that department CRUD, just like that designation CRUD. So what all these CRUD operation we are going to do? These are called as a master data. Now understood what is master data? Clear or no?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. So imagine an application where around, let's say 10 master data pages are there. In every page, what you are going to do, just basic CRUD operation. Because these are very straightforward object. City ID, city name, department ID, department name, department logo, it can be designation ID, designation name, like that, anything, payment ID, payment type, like that. So it will be very basic CRUD operation. In every pages, we are going to do same thing over and over again with basic set of validation, with basic UI, API call, CRUD operation we are going to do. Understood? Nothing is going to be new in all these components. Same kind of repeated code we are going to do. Either this is with HTML also and with the form creation and everything, right? So this is unnecessary, right? Because in every component to do the CRUD operation of this master kind of data, we are going to create another component, every component, and in every component we are going to again do the same thing. Just your object is going to change. Correct? See, if you don't understand this, then reusable component you won't understand. As I said, it's like advanced topic. If you understand this scenario, then only you will be able to relate why reusable component is needed. Understood now why what's the relation I'm talking about? In every component, just your object is going to change. UI is going to same. API call, obviously API call is going to change, right? But in HTML, everything is going to change. Means basic code will be same, but just fields are going to change, right? So instead of creating all the component and writing all that piece of code again and again by just changing the value, we can create a reusable form component. Just talking about form, not the list and the anything. Okay. I want to create a form where I will be send the object. Okay. Means let's say JSON data you will send, and based on that JSON data, your form will automatically populate. Okay. What we are trying to do is I need to create a component where I will send the JSON data. Whatever the JSON data I pass, that component should render a form like that. And in that component only, I will have a save button. And once we click on the save, I should get an object now properly. And then that object, I will pass it to the API. So in city page also, I will use that form component. I just need to pass the object of city ID, city name, validation, whatever we have. A JSON I will pass. My reusable form component will create the form itself. Means in every component, I don't have to design the form again and again. Because I said in every component, HTML is going to be same. Just your fields are going to be changed. Okay. So instead of doing that same code over and over again and repetition is there, we want to make that thing in a dynamic. So here comes the reusable component thing. Now in the Angular, we have two types of form, the template and the reactive. So today I'm just going to explain the template, because if logic is clear and once you understand the template, reactive is little bit easy compared to template. Okay. Now, everyone understood till now? Shall I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
this is the project I'm going to follow. A component I have created. Okay. Form element, an empty component I have created. Now this component we are going to consider for our reusable component. So as I decided, like what type of data I'm going to send, let's say city app, city object. So for city component, what I will pass, city ID, city name. These are the field I will have in the city. Let's say department. What type of data I will pass? DEPT ID, DEPT name, and I can have DEPT logo as well. Three fields are going to be there. Okay. Again, same in the designation. Just the field name are going to change. So this type of object I'm going to pass to my reusable component, that is form element component. Okay. So now in form element component, what type of data I'm going to get and what are the properties I'm going to have that I need to create. Fine. So export. Let's create interface so that we can just strongly type everything. Let's say form element. Now, if just imagine like you want to send a JSON object or your array of object to this form component, what things you might have to pass? How many field you want to pass to this reusable component? See this and tell me like how many field you will be needing in the form element array of object.
3 fields.
That will be
ID, name, and logo.
no. You're not getting. How I will explain this. See, this is going to be my form component. wherever in my project I need the basic CRUD operation form, okay, I will pass my object. I should be able to pass my object student means department object, designation object, and that home form should be designed by itself. I don't want to design the form. I will just send the JSON, like these are the fields I should have in my form, and this component should design the form, and in this component only I will have the save button, and on click of save I will get the object with the properly entered data. Now got it?
Yes, Chetan.
Okay, so can anyone tell me what are the fields I have to pass? Obviously this component I have to pass array of object. Okay, so what type of properties I'm going to pass? If we talk about the object, what do we call this? City ID or city name? What do we call this? City ID or city name? Key or
fields.
field name? Correct? So first property, field name. Again, those who are not able to relate now, let me complete. Then once we complete everything, now, then you will be able to imagine everything. Okay. So field name. Then I said everything will be dynamic. So we need the label also. So label colon, again string type of data. Now in my form, sometimes I can have a text box. Sometimes I can have a checkbox, drop down, anything I can have, as I am designing a reusable component. Na? So I should be able to specify the field type also, like for this particular field, I need the drop down or checkbox or something like that. Correct? So I will need input type also. Colon string. So this is the object which we are going to pass. Field name means city ID or city name, whatever. Label, city name, then input type text or text box, whatever we decide. Clear? Understood why we have created object like that?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
it stands for
Fine.
reusability.
Right. Now, in this component, I'm going to have an input at the rate input round bracket form elements colon data type will be array of this object I will get. Okay. So now here I'm going to get an array of object. Object will contain field name, label, and the input. Okay. Now just we have created the input. Now let's go to this particular project employee component. Okay. Let's open it side by side. Now here I'm going to create what do we say, an array of, let's say we want to create a reusable form for this department. Okay. So form, or let's say depart field list colon data type will be again this. We need the import of this also. Square bracket is equal to square bracket empty. Fine. So it will be array of objects. So object field name. So as I said, what will be the field name? Department ID. So field name will be DEPT ID. Based on whatever the API object you are going to pass, now that key from your object, what you are supposed to send to the post API, that key you need to send it over here. Fine. Then input type. Let's say for department ID, I just need the text box. So text, comma. Then what is this? Label. So label department ID. Fine. This is one object. Comma, comma. So second will be DEPT name, second field name. Again, it will be text and label will be department name. Third name will be logo. Sorry. DEPT. Sorry, logo. Here again, text field or input type file also anything, but just not to complicate things, I'm going with text only. And here label will be logo. Okay, let's assume we will have a checkbox also to make it inactive or not active. Is department active or not active? Okay, so here will be is, guys, please be on mute if you are not talking. Checkbox. Dipti, guys, please let me just disable that. Okay. So see, I have created array of object of my department list. Means my department form, these are the various field I have. Let's say you are hitting your Swagger and you are checking the object, what you need to send. So in that object, you have department ID, department name, department logo, and is active. These are the 4 field you have in your department object. Okay. So we have created an array of object. Now in this component, we have to render this particular component. I'm using Angular 17. So first I need to import this component. Okay. Now let me close this. Now in this component over here, app -, form element, and this has an input square bracket form element, and the array which we have created, we need to pass it over here. Okay. Let me just pause and share again. Guys, don't use that whiteboard. Okay. Fine. So in project employee component, we have rendered our app form app form element component, and we have passed the array of what field I need to render in my component. Okay. So just remember, till now we have just created input in our form element. We have not done the rendering part. Okay. So here we will get the form element, means whatever the data we are passing from over here, that we will get it over here as an input. Now in this HTML, we need to complete. Let's open it side by side. So see what kind of data we are passing over here. Now over here, let's create a row column structure. Now, let's say we have a row and let's say call six structure we will go. So we will first use @for loop. Okay. As I say, anything is not static. We don't know how many fields are going to be there. Is it a text box or is it a drop down? Everything is dynamic. So how do we know like how many text box we need? How many text box we have to create? Array we are going to get. So on this array, we have to use the for loop. But in form element, what is our input name? Form elements. Wait, why it's not suggesting form element? Okay. So first for loop I will be using on the form element. Now in this form element, I will use call, let's say 6. And now in call 6, first I need to display the label. So label I will use, and inside label curly braces, what I will use? Item dot label. Fine. After label, you need a text box or a drop down. You don't know that also. Like, do you need a text box, check box, or what? Right? So for that, we can add a if else statement. At the rate if, and here condition will be if item dot field input type is equal to text. Okay. If it is text, we will render a text box. Fine. Let's add that form control class also. Again, currently we are passing checkbox, so I'm just taking 2 references. Else if, sorry, here it will be checkbox. And instead of this, we will have input type check. And we don't need form control to the checkbox and the drop down, so we are removing it. Fine. Let's just save this and check it if we are able to render 2 elements. What it is saying has no exported member form element. Sonia, please don't use that. What it is saying. In form element has no exported member form elements. Form elements, and here we are using form elements. Same thing only, no? What are we doing wrong? Exported form element, and here also we are using form element. What's the error? Line number in project employee line number 3. Okay, dot ts line number 3. Here it is saying it doesn't have any exported member, but it is there, no? Why it is not able to understand? It is not able to understand this. Why it is not able to understand this? Let's move this and put it into some service or somewhere. Let's create a model file. Yeah, model file is already there. So I'm just moving my export thing into my model. Fine. Let's try now. Now I will need the import over here also. And here also. Let me stop and share it again. Now is it working proper? Yeah. Okay, let's save and check now. If I go to project employee, wait, nothing is rendering. Why? Cannot match any route. Oh, why it is not matching any route? What is the route name? Project EMP. Same we have it over here. Continue. Still nothing is rendering. How come? What did we do wrong? We got the form element over here. First, let's see the parent component. We have created this array. This we are passing as the input in HTML also. Department formula, this is correct. Then the input we should get in our reusable component over here. Let's try to print if we are getting the data or not. Anyone getting what we are missing? Why we are not able to see anything? App layout after navbar. App project employee is there and form element is also there, but it's empty. Why is it empty? We are adding his hyphen also. Hyphen is also not getting printed. Let's stop and run again. Sometimes this happen. And should this hyphen should be printed now, but that is also not happening. Let's try. Yeah, okay. So now it's working. Let's remove this. So now if you see, we got department ID, department name, logo and everything. Why form control class is not working? Class, okay, C is capital. So see, we got the form. Okay, so what we did, from the parent component, we send the object list, like what are the elements I have in my form, and that we have sent to our form element component. So now our form is dynamically created. So, but why department logo has the checkbox? Okay, this we didn't change the label. Is active. Let's save. Okay, so see, department ID and now is active was a checkbox, so we got the checkbox also. Okay, let me unmute now, allow you to unmute now. Till now, everyone understood what we did. Now you might.
Sir, yes,
Those,
sir. Sir, without if condition also we can use, no?
yeah, with that condition also we can do, because input type text and everything. Instead of over here, we can use the property binding. This is what you are,
Yes,
right?
yes,
But
sir.
in case of drop down, what you will do,
Okay.
right? In case of text area, that's why we need this. Okay. Everyone, are you able to relate now? In the starting, you might not got like what we were talking, but now you might be getting like what I'm talking.
Oh, yes, it's clear.
Okay. Now the actual logic, right? So here's here comes my question to everyone, those who are already working and those who have the experience properly. Okay. Now in this is our form. Let's say on click on bottom, we will have call 6 and here we will have button. Save. Okay. Now on click of this save button, I need to get the form data like department ID, what user has typed, department name, and I need the JSON data, like proper data, like what do we get in the form, na? One department name, something like this object I should get in my parent component. Okay, whatever I type. So how do we get that? On click of save, I need that proper object in my parent component. How we will get that? First, we are talking about template form. So here we need to bind ng model. What I can bind it over here in ng model? First, we need to import forms module. What I will bind in my ng model over here? What I will bind it over here so that I will get the proper form data. And then on click of save, I will be able to send the department proper object with key value pair data.
That
Item dot field
interface
name.
key names are there, no?
Like means item dot this field name.
Yes.
Okay, let's try this. Here also and here also. Fine. See, if I change it over here, change it. Okay, we didn't write the change event, click event. Let's click on save. Let's create this function. Let's add a debugger. This. Okay. So now if we bind item dot field name over here, I said like on click of save, I should be getting that form object. How we are going to create the form object now? If I bind the key field name over here, there is no way that you can get the complete object. Department ID, whatever the text box value he passed, department name, colon, whatever the text box value he passed.
Because this is the looping inside the loop, how we can get it to
Right?
be
We cannot get
continuously
it
changing.
by this.
So at that time you create new object.
Which object? What I will store
Mm,
inside that.
Which field we
But this is
put in
dynamic,
our
na?
form.
But this is dynamic. You
Yeah.
don't know. Sometimes this component you will be using for department, designation, city, anything, na? So you cannot hard code anything over here, correct? Everything needs to be dynamic. Getting it?
And how to validate this form?
No, that's the other thing. First, ng model, what we will bind. That is the first thing. Validation is easy. Anyone getting anything? What we will bind it over here. So that on click of save, we will be able to pass the proper object back to the parent component. Okay.
So using @out something.
No. I'm creating a object. Okay. Form object with colon any. Okay. By default, I'm assigning it's empty. Now I will implement ng on init. On init. And there I need to iterate. Sorry. I need to iterate on the data, whatever the form element I have, I need to iterate on that. Okay. So I can use for each or anything for each on form element. So this. Okay. Now in this object, I need to add the keys. Means I need to create the object, whatever the keys I am passing it from over here, na? From my parent component, department ID, department name, whatever the field I am passing, I need to create object into this object. How I can create that now? Have the logic I have said. Can anyone tell me what I need to write it over here? See, what I need to do, over here, I need to create an object. Let's say department ID colon something, department name, whatever the field I'm going to pass, I need to create object like that. Initially, I cannot hard code like this. Everything is dynamic, correct? So how can I, in this field, how can I create that object like that? Anyone? Try to think. This is logic. Let's say someone asks you in the interview that you have to create a dynamic object. What do we mean by dynamic object? Where fields can be dynamic, right? Field is not static. Field can be anything. I can be able to change the field. How do we create dynamic object? Means where keys can be dynamic. See. Okay.
So here actually we are creating the key and the value itself both variable.
Right. No, you didn't get it. I have created a variable, but in that variable, I need to create an object where I will have this property. Okay. So I'm using a for loop on this element. Now this element, you know, like how you can insert a new field into an object by using dot property like this. Correct? This is one way.
Yes.
Another way is we can provide a key value also like this in square bracket. So element dot field name is equal to empty. What it is saying error? It implicitly has any type. And we are assigning a type of number. Where is number? Okay, sorry, this element doesn't have a data type. Let's add a data type to this element, colon any. Still, what is the error now? String is not assignable to type of form element. Field name, whatever the field name we will get, that we will assign. Do we need dot? No. Form element. Why it is giving this error? String is not assignable to type form element. Oh, sorry. Form object, na guys, this was array. Okay. In this object, we need to add the field, na? I mistakenly typed that form element. Okay. So like this. So now let's add a debugger after this. So what this code actually doing, what are the form element you have passed, we are using iterating. And in this object, you are actually creating new fields with whatever the field name you have. Okay. So see now.
Sir, form object in is equal to empty array.
Sorry. Let me complete. Okay.
Form object colon any equal to empty array.
Okay. Empty. Sorry. Thank you. It would have got the error. Okay. Let's try reload now. So see now in the form object, we got the object. See, this is what I was talking about. We need to create a dynamic object. So here, whatever the array of object means field name you pass, that object will be properly created. Now you have the object over here. Now this object, you can bind it to your form by using ng model. So again, form object, square bracket. What you need to pass it over here? Item dot field name. Okay. Let's save it over here also. Okay. Now on click of save, let's write that code. Constant form value is equal to this dot form object. This was the only logic. Let's add a debugger. Okay. Now department ID, let's say 123, department name, sales, department logo, let's say sales.png or something is active as true. On click of save, see, you got the object. Now you can output this to your parent component, then you can make the API call. Got it now? What I was talking about earlier? This This was our ultimate goal, that we should get the proper object. So guys, meeting will stop. I will share the meeting again. Let me just stop. Please join again. In this component, we have two different section that bootstrap button group we can use. Where is button group? Yeah. Let's say department, then let's say designation. Okay, so we have two tabs, and over here we will do the CRUD operation of dot row call 6, and in call 6, first call 6, we will use this saying department over here, and in another call 6 we will use another, but let's say over here we are going to have department designation object. So designation field list. Again, same kind of object we will need, but here field name will be designation ID text designation ID designation name. Okay, we just have two field over here. Fine. And over here we will pass designation field list. We just need to hide. Okay, so consider this is in the first column. Let's add some spacing also. P3. Let's say 4, and in between we will have some space. BG success. BG hyphen primary. Okay, so in the same element, if we are trying to do the CRUD operation of designation and the department also, so we are using this component twice. First, we are passing the department list, and then second, we are passing the designation list. Okay, so see, we got the form. Here we have the department form, and here we have the designation form. Okay, instead of doing it over here, we could do that in the different component, or in normal industrial application for department for master kind of data, we will just have a one page where we have this tab structure, and if we click on a tab, particular this element we will render. Okay, so we won't be creating multiple component for doing the CRUD operation of the master pages. In a single component only, we will do the whole thing. Understood? So this is your actually reusable component. So you don't have to design your form anyhow. You just create the field, you create the array of field, whatever the field you are going to have, you pass it to your reusable component. It will design the form, and it will on click of site, it will get you the object also. Then you can send it back to your API. Again, if you want to extend that API call also, you can put it over there. You just need to input, extend the input, and everything will be taken care of that. So many industrial projects are there where there are so many reusable components already created. You don't have to design the form and everything also. You just need to create the proper object, and you have to send it. That's it. That's our job if the library is already created. Okay. So this was sent by one of the subscriber. He got this as a machine test. So just understand, these are the kind of machine test also nowadays companies are asking because of ChatGPT and everything. No one is going for a normal CRUD operation. Okay, so the logic.
Is there any disadvantage for this method?
No, see, this scenario has a very limited approach. You cannot use this for a form where everything is means employee form or student form or anything. This scenario we normally use for generic kind of data where we have a normal field, right? Basic validation and everything is basic. There we use this. No disadvantage. Okay. In many application, you can see it is being used for a normal form also. So your component is up to that advanced level. Okay, where you can pass the dependent form data also, and everything is dynamic. API call data also you can pass it. Like for this drop down, let's say in your form you have drop down, and the data you are getting from the API, that too also you can send. Okay, but a basic purpose I have explained. Understood now what we did? Just this was the catch. Some of you might be able to do this, like rendering the form, but how do we get the form value? This was more challenging work. So simply by using ng model, how we created this logic? This was the only logic, difficult logic we had. Just like in the reusable table also, na, how did we render that? See, if you have attended that session, this logic. Same logic we have applied over here also. How do we read the object value? By using square bracket also. Same logic we have used in form elements also. Understood? Now again, validation and everything you can do. Again, you need to change your form element. Where we have put that in layout. So here you can put the validations also. Validation array also you can pass, or required, min length, max length, this also you can pass. Like that, you will hand it over there. Again with if and else condition. Clear? Understood? Again, see, if you are just new to the Angular, na, so this might be very hard to process. If you have experience, or you have at least little bit worked, or at least you have done everything in the Angular as a learning, then at least you will be able to relate. But if you are just a beginner, you just know the basic topic, na, it won't be easy to understand. Okay. Yeah. So anyone have any quick doubt? Everyone understood everything?
For validation also we have passed from the parent only, right?
Yeah. Here only you will send the validation, like is it required, min length, max length, pattern, everything you will send it over here, and that data you will bind it over here dynamic by property binding,
Okay, fine.
pattern, right?
Okay.
Min length, everything will be dynamic. Just like that, you will use the validation also over here. Okay.
So this is the only way we can access this data, right? Or is there any other way
This is the only way to
access this like object data?
means dynamically, no?
Yes.
Yeah, like this.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else any question, or else we can close?
So
Yeah. Sorry, who was speaking?
Sir, is this the concept like a shared component or that is different?
Reusable component only, na, shared component only. This is a
Same
reusable
concept only,
component.
right?
Same concept only. I said now, in reusable component we have different scenarios. Reusable table, reusable card, where we can send the HTML also. And this is also reusable. Whole form also we are designing dynamically. Okay.
And in the reactive style,
Reactive
nothing is
also we
gonna
can.
change. It's the same only, right?
No, logic will change little bit. There it is very easy, because there you don't want to send the form controller name. Na? Here we have ng model. Na? So object, there you will get the form controller name. So directly you can bind like this. Na?
Yes.
Controller name.
Form control name.
Direct you will get the control name that you can pass. So in reactive form, it's very easy. In template, it's little bit complex. Okay. But be prepared with this scenario, because two people have reported me. Like these are also question getting asked. Above 5 years experience, okay, not for below 5 years of experience, because there is a limit now what to ask. In Angular we have limited questions, so interviewers are moving the standard. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they also ask like when to use a reactive form and also the template form.
Right. Okay. So fine. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Let's in next week I will be one more topic I wanted to explain. So we will connect in the next week again.
Sir, I requested this types of client storage. Please make one
Okay, yeah,
video
yeah.
on that.
It's very easy, I think. Why?
Not easy, sir. Like I mean easy, but we don't know like which one to
Which
use.
one to use where?
Yeah.
But see, if we talk about, we have session storage, local storage, and cookies, correct? Three mode of
Yeah.
store. Session storage will store the data unless you close that tab, correct? That data will be there unless you close the particular tab or the window. Once you close that tab or the window, your data will get vanished. Understood?
Yeah.
Session storage. Local storage data will be there unless, doesn't matter if you close the tab or if you close the window, that data will be still there unless you clear it. Clear? Session
Yeah.
storage, the word session will be like unless you have your active browser, that data will be there. Local storage data will be there unless you delete it. Okay. These are two different storage. Now here comes the cookie. While storing the data into the cookie, you can actually send the expiry time also, like by when you need this data. So once when storing that cookie, you will store the expiry time also. Once that expiry time is there, that data will get automatically deleted. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say you are working on a banking application where you will store the logged in user data somewhere or token or something. Session, local or cookie.
We can use cookies.
Yeah, more secure will be cookie. Why cookie? Because when we log in, we get the token and that token is valid for particular time of period. So in our side also, we need to write that specific code, that after this particular time of period, we need to remove the token, delete the token and ask user to get, or do you want to again recontinue your session? Then we call the refresh API and everything, right? Like that. But let's say if you are working on an application where security is not mandatory, even if user close the browser and even if again user tries my URL, he should be logged in. So what you will use? I don't want user to again asking login and login. There is no sensitive data,
We can use local storage.
right? So on the page load, you will read the local storage data. If data is there, you will directly logged in him. You won't again ask him to log in. So based on the
Or
need, we go for the different medium. Understood?
yeah, but like in real time, we use all types of storages
Yeah, so
mostly.
that's what I said. Now,
So
based on the
yeah,
scenario we use,
yeah, based
some
on the
data we store in the
scenario.
local storage also, some data we store in the cookies also, or even some data we store in our service file also, or a
Hmm.
subject also. Correct? But what's the
Yes.
disadvantage of storing data into subject or service? What's the disadvantage?
What, sir?
What's the disadvantage of storing the data in service or subject?
Um,
Generally, that files are shared on GitHub.
No. Subject. Angular application, I'm asking. If you reload the application, your subject will get reinitialized, right?
yes.
So
Yes,
that
sir.
was the disadvantage. Again, we need to call that API and you need to get the data and you will store it into your service variable or the subject. Most preferably subject behavior, not subject. Okay. Understood, Praveen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, in session storage and local storage, methods are same. Set item, get item. Methods are same, right? Clear,
Yeah.
set item, remove, get item, remove item. Methods are same in session or the local.
So what was the disadvantage of using that storing data from service and object? Sir? Can you please tell me?
Sorry. Not able to process what you speak slowly.
Yes, sir. Can we tell me that more again? We storing that sensitive data from service and subject.
Yeah, means say in some project they have the restriction that we don't want to use browser storage, but still if we need to store the data, so we use subject behavior, or in service we create a variable and there we store the data. So wherever we need that data, we will read from that. Okay.
But what is the disadvantage, sir?
Disadvantage means if you refresh your application, browser refresh you did, so that service will get automatically reinitialized, na? So your data will get lost. Again, you need to call the API and you will again store the data. So that's the disadvantage on reload.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is.
And what will be the best practice for a cookie or a local storage?
It's not disadvantage or something. Based on the scenario, you will choose, right? What is your scenario? What is your purpose? Like that, sometimes you will use cookie, sometimes you will use session storage. For mostly storing the token, we use cookie because let's say your token is valid for 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, you need to remove that cookie automatically, right? So you will use cookie. But let's say your token doesn't have expiry time. So you will store that token into session storage as well. Clear? Understood, guys?
Cookie and session are two different things.
Yeah. Just like local storage is different, so session storage is different, cookie is different. Okay. Anyone else?
Even for production-based applications, we can use local storage, right?
In
Production-based application, suppose if you want to deploy.
Yeah, see, it's not like that a normal project development mode you will use or production we cannot use. We have to use session storage, local storage, and cookies. Doesn't matter it is production or something else. We have to use it. And nothing wrong is wrong in that also using local storage. Some guys think that using local storage is wrong, but cookie data also we can read, na? Just like local storage data we can see, just like that cookie data also we can see. It's a browser storage, we cannot hide that. So that's why sometimes we have to store the data into subject and behavior subject or the service variable if our data should not be visible in the browser. So we have to go for Angular.
But sir, the problem is with local storage, the data remains there, right?
Yeah.
It
So
doesn't
once
get cleared out.
on click of logout, you need to clear it, na? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you need to write that. Okay. That's it. So shall we close?
Sir,
Yeah.
okay, what about query params and fragments when we use routing or
Routing only, na? When you want to redirect with some data. That's it. Nothing else, na?
purpose of means for sharing data purpose?
Yeah, for sharing from, let's say from one component, you are navigating to another component, you want to pass the data. In the table, you have a student list component where you are showing the list. And on click of edit, you are going to navigate to the student form component. So you need to navigate with the ID, na? Like which student record you need to populate. So there you will use query parameter.
Okay, and one more question. What about resolve auth guard? Basically, I think it's for the data storage purpose or they
Resolve, na?
resolved auth guard.
No, that is something else, not data storing. Resolve will execute before your component get loaded. Let's say in your component, your form labels are also coming from your API. So can you load your component? First, you need to make your API call. You get the data, then your component should load. So resolve guard we use if we have to write some code before rendering our component.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Sir, this is Shruti.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, is it possible to make any videos on Angular material as well? Because I have got a scenario where in the Angular component, each cell is a component, the dynamic component. So that's where I wasn't able to answer my interview questions.
No, can you repeat one more time? What was it? Question?
So Angular material table, the simple Angular material table I understand, but I got a scenario where each cell is a component again.
Each cell is a component.
Each cell of the table was a component. Like on click of it, like we were redirecting to some different thing.
Okay.
So that that's the complexity was there. So I wasn't able to understand on the interview time. So like, is
Okay,
it
okay.
possible to make any such kind of videos?
Fine. First, because I normally don't use material, so I skip. I don't do the videos on the material. I have to do it. I will do.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from me.
Fine. Thank you all. Thanks for
Instead of,
joining.
yeah, could you take
Yeah.
it Angular? Is it possible?
Sorry.
Instead of React, like you said, you'll be taking classes on React. Could
No,
you
React as
please
in
take?
so many were asking for the React tutorial. That's why it's not something course or something, but I don't want to keep it free because every day new people will join and they will ask silly questions. So much time get waste. So that's why just to limited user, I'm doing that. Angular, all whatever I am going to teach, everything is on YouTube, right?
Sir, but don't
But
stop
if a
Angular
live
videos,
session
sir.
will be there,
No,
that
no,
will
no, I'm
be
not
really
going to
great
start.
also.
Once we complete this, then only we are going to start that. I'm not starting it right now. Still next month
Because
we are going to start.
we came for you because of Angular, sir.
No, no, no. Next month I'm going to start, not now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
See,
accordingly, please plan for the interview session also.
having knowledge of React is also important, Praveen.
Yes, sir.
As I
Yes.
mentioned, na, see, in your current company, you might be working on Angular. If your Angular project get over, and currently there is no project where Angular requirement is there, right? So company will ask you, is there any another technology you are familiar with? Correct? So since you are a person who knows JavaScript, so they will ask you that if you know the Angular, mean basically you know the JavaScript. And if you know the JavaScript, you should be able to work on React or Vue also.
Yes,
Correct?
sir. That's true.
So don't limit
Actually,
yourself.
so yeah, let me share my experience with these technologies. So I work in US. So we don't have a chance to get projects every time in the same technology. So we
Right.
need to keep changing.
Right.
So that's when I need different kinds of knowledge. So last 2 times I got a projects on Vue.js and React.js. That's when I started the project without having knowledge.
Yeah.
So
We have to
need to
learn and
have the
understand and implement also. Same time we have to
yes,
do all
yes.
this.
So that prior knowledge is important.
At least
At least
see,
if even
one
if you
language
don't
will be
work.
there who in that language you will be expert, right? One language should be there who with that you can say that I'm an expert in Angular. But Vue.js also, React.js also, you should know the basic topic. So if someone asks you like let's say your manager or someone, your DU lead, they will tell you like, look, I don't have opening for the Angular, but there are some project where we have opening for React or the Vue.js. So do you want to do that? If you say no, they will put you on the bench and then again you have to start looking. So if you are
And
limiting yourself to Angular now, it's very hazardous now. Okay.
and for me, they interviewed on a Angular and they gave me Vue.js and React.js
Yeah.
projects.
So interviews are happening like that, na? Whatever the technology you say, they will interview on that. But the work, they will decide, right? If you have given the interview on Angular, assumption is you know the JavaScript. That's why JavaScript get asked in the interviews. In Angular, we don't use much of the JavaScript, but still they ask it. The meaning of that is if you know the JavaScript, you will be able, with little bit training, you will be able to work on React, Vue, Express, whatnot, Plastic.js, Next.js, anything. Because for all those languages, JavaScript is the base. Getting it? Praveen, clear? Why? You should be familiar with React also.
Yes, sir, but I think it would be better if we learn React Native instead of React.
React Native is only for mobile app, no? Right?
No, it's a cross-platform, right?
I'm not familiar with React
It's
Native.
it's for mobile app only, as sir said. But though it is for web, they use like more for mobile. React Native.
Yeah, that I was also aware like React Native is for mobile. just like Ionic
Yeah.
or right?
Correct.
I'm
It's
not
for mobile, but you can develop a website
web app
also with
also.
the single code.
But if
So
we
Because
if we
compare
want
React Native
to
and React only we use na for web app. We don't use React Native.
multi-platform applications use React Native, but if it is specific to web application, use React only.
Okay.
yes, you can want to do work with the one code and the
Yeah,
different
means different
platforms, then
environment.
you can
Yeah.
use the React Native.
Just like Ionic. So if we create a
Just like
single
Ionic.
Angular app, that single Angular app, you can use it on the web also and in the mobile app also. Just like that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
but
sir.
React Native, I don't think that much exposure we have. React Native is very limited to mobile app only. Okay.
But these days, all businesses are like taking this React Native or Flutter because see, once their application became success, so they are very easy to expand
Yeah,
their
man.
business
Right.
in
Platform
Play
is easy.
Store,
But
iOS, Windows,
again,
like that.
see, the problem with cross-platform now, let's say if you have created app with Flutter, so everything, whatever the code you have written, consider you started from mobile app. So all the libraries regarding, let's say, touch and everything, what functionality we have in the mobile app, that will be your code. But again, if you want to use that same project as a web also, na, again you need to rewrite your code little bit. Correct?
Yes, sir, but not completely, right?
Not
So,
completely, agree na. But most of the
so
enterprise application, they don't select a framework where we have to, where there are scenarios where we are only creating scenarios where it will break. They don't want that kind of thing. So that's why if, and we are talking about industrial application, right? So there are very few application where web application is also there, mobile app is also there. Enterprise application, I'm asking. Okay.
Yeah, if they want a person specifically in a web, like they ask React only. If they want specifically React Native, they ask that.
Right.
So even I had that experience in
yeah,
my.
they ask React and Angular
And the
specifically
cross-platform,
when their platform is limited to website only, not
Right.
applications.
Hmm.
So, for example, like enterprise applications like telecom services and even telecom also these days coming into as mobile apps like MyGeo or Airtel. All these apps came into mobile only. Before they are all just a simple web applications.
Right.
So they're moving into completely like cross platform. I mean they're making their main priority as a mobile platform and these web windows and all those as like secondary things. When they got more popular, they're expanding to launch
See,
into
these
those
are
platforms.
product, correct?
Yeah.
Whatever we discuss, like application where we have web also and the mobile app, those are mostly product. Okay. Customers are going to use. So for customer is, we have to create a mobile app also. But when we say enterprise application, let's say a back office application of some bank. Okay. Huge data centered application where so much data we are processing. Stock market application, not talking about the front end, back end applications, enterprise application, insurance backend application, banking backend application, trading backend application. Getting it? That kind of application I'm talking. That we can call it as an enterprise application. There, no one is supposed, because we have to deal with huge data. So that data we cannot populate in the mobile app. So
Correct. So here,
that
let me share
application we
my
can call it
experience.
as an enterprise.
Yeah. So the thing is like React and React Native, the concepts will be same, but the deployments and the libraries will play the major role. Just to know the more library in React Native, like give the more knowledge of React Native. But learning Reactive is start with the web is it's good way to start with. So the deployment, like Android Studio will be there, right? So that kind of environment, we need to deploy the React Native projects.
Yeah, again that Maven build and everything.
Correct.
we need. Okay, fine. So again, Praveen, don't worry. We are not going to just start it. In next month, I'm going to start it. First, we need to complete what we started. Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you all. Thanks, Shruti, for providing the inputs.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye all. Thank you.